Gonna give you a quick heads up that we had a few audio problems this week. Firstly, you'll notice that I sound a bit different because I recorded through my Rift mic for the first 10 or so minutes. Secondly, Ben's internet connection dropped out near to the start, but we kept some of it in because it lined up perfectly, and it was quite funny. And finally, there's some random phone interference on Ben's audio from about the 22nd minute mark. Please enjoy the episode.
Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Hello.
And our guest this week is Callan Davison from the Game Train podcast. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely our pleasure. Do you want to tell our audience a little bit about yourself and your podcast?
Sure. So, I'm on the Game Train podcast, me and my friend Carl Smith. We do a fortnightly podcast. Pretty much, we review a game each week. Each episode, go through some news, talk about sort of gaming history, give like our hype and lame trains, which is like what we're excited about, what we haven't liked, etc. And just have a bit of fun with it all, really.
Awesome. And I should mention that you are a fellow AGPN member, the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. We love them here on Bitstorm, of course. All right, so we're going to play some Click Pitch. Trevor, do you want to do the honours of explaining the game to our listening audience?
So all three of us have a random word generator in front of us. On the count of 3 to 1, we're going to click refresh and get our first word.
Shit. We jinxed it. We jinxed it.
Ben?
Hello?
You there?
We're just talking about internet dropouts before as well.
Can't believe it. We just said we never have this happen.
Well, it looks like it's the... it's the Callan Trev show.
Yes. All right. My plan worked. I got rid of him. All right.
Oh, my God.
Could call this Train Storm now or something, or Bit Train.
So, welcome to the Bit Train podcast. Yeah. These are your hosts, Callan and Trev.
Hello.
Okay, 3 to 1, click.
Okay, click. Okay, what'd you get?
Bugler.
Bugler?
Yes.
Jeez, okay, I got Tactic.
Okay, so it's like Final Fantasy Tactics, but you're playing as like a bugler that plays the bugle in the morning at the army.
Yep.
So I'm trying to think. Final Fantasy Tactics, that was sort of like a card game, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I'm thinking like an RTS. It wasn't an RTS, so was it? It was
No. Well, stuff it. Don't have to use Final Fantasy Tactics. Let's go with an RTS.
Okay.
So the only control system that you've got, though, is like a bugle.
Like a plastic bugle, like a Guitar Hero guitar?
Bugle,
yes.
Kind of like a Guitar Hero sort of thing.
Yes. Okay.
So to actually, get your units to move, you've got to play a different tune on the plastic bugle, and that will get things moving.
Cannot believe that happened.
Well, we've already started.
You started without me? All right, what are our words?
So our two words are bugler and tactics.
Okay. Well, you probably need a word from me, huh?
Yeah. At the moment we've got a Guitar Hero-like controller, which is a bugle, and you're playing an RTS game in which the only way to move your men around is by playing like a tune on the bugle.
Okay, so this particular tune you play directs them in different directions?
Yeah, and if you play let's say The Last Post or something, it does like a special move, let's say.
Right, there are particular tunes. Okay, well, let's just go with that then. Or do you want me to throw in an extra word into the mix?
You can throw in your extra word if you want.
Oh, geez, you guys just taken over the podcast without me. All right, I'll just leave. I'll just go if you like.
It's called Bit Train now, by the way.
All right, well, my word is species.
Oh.
Okay, so you're basically a bugler, but you're going up against a lot of alien species. Kind of like in StarCraft, how you have the Zerg and whatever.
You've got your different factions.
Yeah. So
Protosses.
basically, they've all got their own version of a bugle, and kind of like StarCraft.
So wait, is
2.
it different peripherals depending on which faction you're playing?
Yep.
So there's one that's like all kind of organic looking pus dripping off it for the Zerg, and there's one that's all kind of like alien futuristic crystals and things.
Yeah, I think that it actually comes with the one actually comes with like a couple of sachets that you like, rip open the sachet and mix it in water, and then you just drip it into it.
Sure, for that authentic Zerg bugling experience.
I guess you could have like a bugler on each team and have them like the Pied Piper, like sort of both leading their own army sort of thing,
That could make it interesting, actually. Maybe you've got a character sort of on the battlefield.
like a commander.
Yeah, but the only way to get them to follow you is to play the bugle, and sort of different tunes mean different formations and things.
Thing is, you got to keep it going.
So it's testing your lung capacity at the same time.
Yeah,
Cool.
pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, so are we going with is this StarCraft 3 then? Is this we're sticking with those species?
I think it should actually be Buglecraft.
Ooh,
Craft.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, do you get to craft your own bugle then? But then you didn't craft any stars in StarCraft, so
No, exactly.
no,
Didn't have to.
no.
Okay, let's click again.
All right.
Yeah.
Who do you want to pick?
Ooh, restaurant.
Lower.
Northeasterly.
Okay. You're a floating restaurant.
Okay.
Okay.
And so you have to. Not only are you managing your customers and your staff and such, but you have to like push your like sails and balloons point them in the right direction to catch that northeasterly wind. Otherwise, you start sinking lower, and you don't want to crash your restaurant.
Okay, so it's almost like the, in Up, how they go in the house with the balloons and they start floating away.
Yeah,
But
maybe it's all balloons, and you have to like pop some, blow some more up in different ways.
But people like having like a close up view. So even though it's more dangerous, being lower is actually going to get you more 5-star reviews from the restaurant.
Oh, because they don't want to just be above the clouds and not see anything, and also get sunburned.
Yeah, because there's less ozone up there, and
And just less cloud cover,
yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So would it be like a simulation style, like kind of like, I guess, like Overcooked, I guess, when you're running around a kitchen making things?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It could be like, and Trevor doesn't like these, but it could be like a sim building game sort of thing where you get to actually place down all your furniture and your different cooking bits into the restaurant, as well as your balloons and sails and sandbags and whatever else that are actually navigational. Or it could be preset layouts and it's more about the time management. Like something like Overcooked or one of those, those like Cook Serve Delicious or something like that, where you're actually having to sort of do mini games to make the meals, but there's also mini games for and again, navigation, guiding your ship, making sure that you've got the right ballast. As you feed people, well, that doesn't actually make sense. I was going to say, as you feed people, they get fatter, but presumably all your ingredients are on there. Unless you have to catch your ingredients somehow.
But then you could start making people fatter and then sending them to certain sides of the restaurant to turn your restaurant as you're floating through the air.
Oh, that's true. It comes down to where you place your tables, and then you have to like tell your hostess to distribute the weight in certain ways. Or host, sorry, I don't mean to genderize. Yeah, that's pretty fun. That's pretty fun. So, and I like the idea.
Ben, you're going to kill me. I'm recording on the Rift mic again.
Oh, you son of a bitch! At least I'm not the only one who fucked up.
Yep.
Yeah. So, are there boss fights? That's what I was wondering. Do you come across like big wind monsters in the mountains?
Yeah. How
or something?
about we low pressure systems or something like that?
Yeah, okay. You've got an in-house meteorologist. Definitely. I think there's some good stuff you could do.
Tornadoes.
Thunder and lightning.
I heard they're making a new theme hospital. Let's just get those guys, pitch this to them, bring them over to this. I think this will be better.
Oh, geez, I'd love to see a new theme hospital. I love the original.
They're doing one, apparently. I saw something about it. Some of the original team. Okay. I think that's it. I think that one's flown the coop.
Yep, 3, 2, 1, click.
Counter example.
Okay.
Lexicon.
Laser.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whew.
This sounds like it's like an educational game about, improving your vocabulary or something. Where you have to...
I'm seeing a blackboard with lots of equations on it.
Well, so lexicon is just like, the words that you know kind of thing.
Yep.
So maybe it's that you have to... It's a synonym contest. One person says something, the other person has to say synonyms. And if you can't think of one, then you just get to shoot them with a laser.
Okay.
No.
Where's the game?
It's getting
no.
me
This isn't a video
example.
This isn't a video game.
could be a VR game.
I'm thinking real lasers. You just
Real
get
lasers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like no.
Laser pointer, just blind the person. Yep.
Yeah, totally. They can't see their fucking thesaurus then, can they?
Well, effectively, they've got 2 lives. One in each eye.
Oh, jeez.
All right, I don't think that one's got legs. Let's
No.
or eyes.
Or eyes, no.
Yeah.
All right.
Extra.
Bureaucracy.
Grin.
Grin?
Yes.
Okay, so you're a sadistic. I don't know. What branch of the bureaucracy are you working at? I feel like we've already done like DMV/Vic Road sort of thing. Maybe like births, deaths, and marriages or something.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
And you're just trying to. The goal is to send people through as many hoops to jump to get what they want as possible. Because you're
Actual
trying to,
hoops.
Sure, you just like you have to. It's one of those hoops with the paper across it.
Yep.
It's like this is you just to agree to. This is the new way of signing the terms and conditions. Jump through this hoop if you agree.
But there's lots of red tape as well.
Right, it's all taped across with red tape, of course. It's actually like this, it's actually an obstacle course full of hoops, paper, and red tape. It's a very literal bureaucracy.
Okay, so the grin is because it's actually fun to do.
Well, because they're sadistic, right? They take pleasure from making their customers do these things.
I'm picturing someone like the Joker here, like running this place.
Oh, yeah, evil man.
Yeah, massive grin on his face. And just making you run through all these hoops. But then when you think you've gotten to the end, it all starts again.
Right, of course. You're back at the same person.
Yeah.
You've gone through all these things. You've talked to about 6 different people along the way. You finally, at the end, there's a big sign saying you're nearly there. And then it's the fucking Joker again. Literally, it's just the Joker.
So what you're saying is this game won't end. It will just keep going.
Oh, yeah, it's not meant to be fun. No, I don't know. I guess the gameplay is like building this thing.
So not actually running through it as someone trying to.
Oh no! You get to watch them run through. That's where the fun comes in.
It doesn't sound like much fun for the
customers. For the player, well, are you kidding? The Sims. How many millions of copies did that sell?
True.
All anybody did in that was put their fucking Sims in mazes and drown them and stuff. Same thing.
I guess you can download user-created maps offline.
Oh, definitely.
So you can just mess with each other.
And there's a VR mode where the person in VR has to run through it.
How about with electric shocks as well, just to add something to it as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's a custom peripheral. We like those on this show.
Oh, God. 3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah.
Accidental.
Cell with a C.
Nighttime.
Nighttime?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so this game's always set at night.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe something happens. Maybe something happens when it becomes night.
Okay, every time it goes night, you get put into a cell.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Like every time.
Yep.
How does accidental? But
accidental. One
Damn.
night you accidentally don't get put into the cell. And then the game is figuring out where you are. It's like a psychological thriller. All you remember is being put in this cell every night, and I don't know, what do you do during the day? Are you kidnapped somewhere? Are you on an alien ship?
maybe you accidentally stow away on a ship, and for some reason they lock you up every night in a cell.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, you've accidentally, or maybe
you fell asleep on this comfy box.
Yeah. Yep. And they sort of cage you up at night. Yeah. Sort of like an animal.
Like a pet. Yeah. You're a pet.
Yeah. Exactly.
Actually, that'd be cool. A game where you're a pet for an alien would be kind of neat.
Like in an alien zoo.
Yeah. So you have to figure out what's going on and where you are and how to escape and steal a spaceship and go on adventures. Exactly. With your other animal zoo creature friends.
Which are then aliens too.
Yeah, they're from all these other different planets. Yeah. Oh, I like that. That could have some cool... You could spin that out for many sequels.
Could be a point-and-click adventure.
That's what I was thinking.
I haven't done one of those in a while.
No, we haven't.
Okay.
Big
All right,
fan of those.
Let's flesh it out a little bit then. What? Who are you? What sort of character are you? Someone who apparently takes naps in random boxes with weird alien writing on the side.
Well, you could be, let's say, a zookeeper yourself. So it's like,
that's cool. I like that.
So then, the zookeeper is now the caged animal sort of thing for these other, and he learns the lesson at the end, don't cage things up.
Either that or a dog catcher.
A dog catcher. Well, I like a zookeeper because then, your knowledge as a zookeeper is something that helps you escape. Because you the procedures and of course aliens have learned from us. That's why they even thought to have a zoo. They visited us hundreds of years ago and saw what we were doing to animals and minorities. I said hundreds of years ago.
And they thought they'd make a great tourist attraction, yeah?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, no, that could work.
Okay, so I'm just now wondering what the build of this guy is. Is he on the larger side, or is he rather
Trevor,
buff?
every time we come up with a character, you have to ask about his body.
Do not.
Okay, you've never done that, but
no.
Why are you concerned?
Because I kind of like the idea that they've just got bars on the cage rather than like a laser cage. But
okay,
if he's like a stockier sort of person, he can't quite fit through the bars. So
right, Luckily, there's one of the other zoo creatures is actually made of lasers.
So Lasertron, we'll call him Lasertron.
Lasertron, yeah, and you make friends with Lasertron, and you say, you sort of have it's a point and click. You've got dialogue puzzles, and you remind him, wait, how powerful are your lasers? Can't you just cut through those bars? And he's like, oh yeah, whoops.
So he's like your main companion. So he's like the gimmick of the game that you use to solve puzzles.
Definitely,
with his lasers.
I think so. You don't go into the mirror room with him.
Take someone's eye out.
Well, and
you've only got 2 lives.
It takes.
I feel like the lexicon's going to come into it next.
Now we have to use that one, Drew. I probably would have kept it in. I probably would have kept it in anyway. Yeah, no, if he goes in the mirror room, it takes him a very long time to find himself again. He ends up scattered. Yeah, I like this.
What about a villain? What sort of villain could there be?
Oh yeah, what's the alien? What's the bad guy like?
It's just like it's a mirror image of what our character is. So he just thinks that he's doing it right because this is a zoo, and of course,
he's not necessarily evil. He's just a regular Joe, running a zoo.
Yep.
Maybe you have to convince him that you're sentient, so he realizes the error of his ways. And then at the end, you get home and a giraffe goes, "Oh, that's all we had to do to get out of here."
Or at the end, you capture him and you put him in your zoo. And that starts off the sequel where then you play as that alien.
Then you play as that alien.
Zoo.
Well, that's a video game on the alien world about that alien.
You were talking dialogue puzzles before.
Yes.
But I kind of like the idea that you can't actually, understand any of the aliens. You have to sort of work out some sort of code as part of the.
Okay, so the puzzles involve pointing at things and using
basically,
items.
What I like to now call mouse charades. So basically,
you literally move the mouse around,
click on yourself, and then point over here, and then me. And basically, the only way that you're sort of trying to tell your friends to do something is by doing basically.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Gestures.
Okay, that's kind of neat. Actually, that could have some cool implications around. You could have some really fun misunderstandings if you don't clarify yourself. You have to. You end up coming up with some different symbols. And maybe you can. Maybe you can learn gestures. It's not all just mouse control, because that would be pretty hard.
Yeah, that'd be kind of hard. But
as you go, you sort
start
of
of it.
Basically, instead of an inventory or along with an inventory, you get a bunch of gestures that you've learned between you and your companion along the way that you both understand. So you can, as you go, you can basically be more explicit about giving instructions and things.
Because I think that then makes it easier for the alien zookeeper to not think that we're sentient.
Yeah,
because
if you can all just understand each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
I know. I think I'm now picturing the old verb coin from some of the later LucasArts games, where once you start filling in the gesture coin, is what we can call it. Basically, you can just hold down the button wherever you want and move to that gesture that you want, and basically try to get whichever person or whichever other creature you want to do the gesture that you've asked them to do. But it's rather than having to pull from the inventory, having the coin just come up on the hold down.
Yeah, perhaps. Or you could do it with mouse gestures. It's just that there are specific symbols. If you do sort of an M gesture, then that you remember that means one of the gestures that you've done or something. Or I don't know.
Yeah,
just to make it a bit more. Yeah.
Kind of like in Black and White, how you'd move the mouse and do different sort of things.
Yeah, because it works so well in that game. And everybody's been using it since for the last 20 years.
Yep. I love that game.
15. I know. I was so excited for that game when it was coming out. I literally left work 2 hours early that day, I remember. I snuck out. Pretty sure I didn't even buy it. I'm pretty sure I snuck out because I knew that my pirated copy would have finished downloading.
Yep.
Sorry, Peter Molyneux. You deserve it. You're
3, 2, 1, click.
Okay.
Stroking.
Battery.
Pale. P-A-L-E, pale.
I like. Okay, bear with me. There's a new type of battery.
Okay.
Would this be a peripheral?
It basically is used in everything, and it gets charged by stroking. So it's sort of like petting.
Okay.
I'm thinking that basically in this world.
So it's a battery that's powered by love.
Yes, and one day you wake up and your
Pet
battery, your pet/battery, is rather pale.
Okay.
And so
sick.
now it's sort of like you're on an adventure trying to work out how to fix your pet battery.
Is this a world where everybody has these batteries?
Yes.
Okay, so it's sort of a new.
And this is the first one to ever get sick, as it were.
Yeah. So this is a world where there's this wonder technology or creature that people have invented, genetically engineered or something, that's super cute and when it's being loved, it generates electricity, just like wirelessly, I guess, to everything around it.
Yeah, I think
Or
so.
do you have to plug it in?
So would this game come with like a battery peripheral sort of thing? Like,
Oh god, there's
Hero
there's an actual stroking mechanic.
It can just be VR, and then you just got you know.
Nah, I like that
take
it comes
the
with like
contours.
basically comes with a stuffed toy. And maybe it's a stuffed toy that can change color as you progress through the game and like start healing your creature.
and maybe you learn different rhythms to sort of
Yeah, or you just
use on
like
the battery.
you've got puzzles in the game where you have to power different things. And like at the start, because it's sick, it's very weak. Like it can't power many things. Or just can't emit much power. But as you move through the game, it gets more and more powerful, and you can like power other things. And maybe it becomes more powerful than other people's power battery pets. It's the chosen one.
Okay, so my idea is so that you don't have to come up with too much of a peripheral. What actually comes in the box is it's like a stuffed toy skin for a PlayStation 4 controller, and the stroking that you do is on the top.
No, wait. This is a fucking Nintendo Labo game.
Oh God,
It's cardboard.
it's cardboard.
And it comes with a little like strip of fluffy fabric or something that's sensitive to the touch and can change color. But you put your Joy-Con in there.
And it feels the micro movements
yeah.
that you're actually doing.
Yeah, totally. HD Rumble. Oh no, that doesn't work. That's how it like purrs back at you. You can feel exactly how many ice cubes it's eaten. Okay, so what's the end game? Like, this thing becomes more and more powerful.
Well, I guess you charge it all the way back up again, don't you?
But yeah, I think you overcharge it. I think by the end you're just like, I don't know, overpowering things. I don't know, what's the benefit of a battery that can emit more power, I guess. Maybe it has to say maybe there's
coming
something
back to a conspiracy.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Well, basically, these batteries are actually alien life forms that these scientists have just harnessed, and they realize that they actually, they don't need any food to survive. They just need love.
Yeah.
But we've put them out as sort of batteries. It just so happens
As products.
that they are actually.
Well, okay. Here's the thing: they're not just alien creatures. They're like the larval form of a different type of alien, and their parents are coming to get them. You find out halfway through that like this is actually just somebody they implanted these things thousands of years ago on Earth. It just happened to be that now they sort of made it to their larval form, and that's when they were discovered, and their like abilities were discovered, and over a few decades, it became this point that they're just a commodity that everybody has.
Yep.
But now it's time for them to grow up, and maybe this like turning pale, losing power thing is the first step to them actually like metamorphosizing. Metamorphing, I don't know, into their adult form.
Or it could be like a call signal that's gone out, sort of thing, it's used up its charge or energy or whatever to call them and bring them in, sort of thing, and your character doesn't realize this. That could be cool. And you find out halfway through that that's what's happened, and other ones start doing it. Maybe you have to like try to stop them maybe you have to start just killing them. Or stopping them in some way from... Or you're trying to stop the human population from using them as batteries because you realize, these aliens are coming down and everyone's just going to get decimated by them.
Right. They're going to be mad.
Yeah.
They're going to be pissed.
What I'm seeing for the final scene is these aliens lift off with all their young, and basically the entire world is plunged back into the Dark Ages.
Oh yeah, I like that because
Okay,
they've been completely reliant on it for decades. That's cool. Yeah, that's a really good
allegory
sort of
to the
bittersweet ending of yeah.
over reliance on technology leads to heartache.
Yep.
Well, and just not understanding, taking advantage of something you don't understand, sort of thing, and
then using it for your gain or whatever.
So what sort of game is this even? Is it sort of like a third-person action adventure sort of thingy, or is it another point and click? I don't know.
I see it as
Obviously,
maybe,
strong
maybe
narrative.
A third person sort of.
Is it like
almost,
is there
almost
combat or is it? Yeah,
Walking simulator with puzzles and things. Maybe sort of like Firewatch, kind of.
Yeah, where it's this strong narrative sort of thing, and you've just got fairly basic puzzles. I like that. Yeah, the narrative there is really cool. I'd like to play that.
Yep, it's all about tugging at the heartstrings, isn't
it? yeah, that's it. You'd really get attached to little baddie.
Baddie, yeah.
I'm just wondering if in Legend of Zelda, where you can name your horse, you can name your battery.
You can name your battery.
And if it's like a regular name, then the name actually gets put into
voice,
because we've got an awesome text to speech.
So at the end, you're like, "No, come back, Jason." No, Jason. I can't use Jason. That's being ruined by heavy rain. Bradley, my battery.
Jim,
come back,
no.
Sean.
Sean. All right, I think we'll click again.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, click.
Treatment.
Copying.
Baritone.
Oh. Well, a treatment can be like a sort of a way of presenting something, or you know what I mean? It's not as common a usage, but no, maybe not.
You got anything there, Callan?
Copying. Okay, so you're a character that's going in for treatment, right? For, let's say, I don't know, heart condition or something. But then let's just say something goes wrong, and then you've got, during this sort of treatment, it was an experimental sort of procedure, it goes wrong, but then you then have the ability to sort of copy anything, a
baritone saxophone.
So you turn into a baritone saxophone, and
well, maybe
no, you can copy any sound.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you copy sounds.
Well, where I was going is with the whole treatment thing. I like that, but instead of you being able to copy something, it's that you get copied about 3 more times, and that lets you form a barbershop quartet. And one of you's the baritone. And then, I don't know, you harmonize to solve crimes.
Okay.
Oh, God.
What else would you do with that sort of power?
Become the new Beatles. I don't know.
They solved crimes, right? That was their side gig. Didn't you see when they were on Scooby-Doo?
Sort of brings barbershop back
happened,
into
right?
sort of mainstream music for whatever reason, and it takes over the world. Just, I don't know.
Totally. That would
Hello,
happen.
my baby. Hello, my honey. Oh, God. Let's click again.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, click.
Last.
Primitive.
Amputation.
Oh, God. This is a story about the last amputation performed before medical technology caught up and they realized that they shouldn't be doing it with a hacksaw or I don't know.
Oh, even better. Better. It's
good because that wasn't very good.
It's set in the Star Trek universe, and it's the last amputation that occurs
Ever.
just before they actually come up with with the technology to basically regenerate tissue.
But they can't do it to this person because of the way that they do the amputation, it can't be done retroactively. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just about like the seething resentment of this person for being the last one to ever need
kinda like
to
the
lose
fact
a
that
limb.
He wakes up and it's like, yeah, we just we wish that we actually knew that you could just wait a little bit longer. And
Well, maybe the whole opening scene is them like having a really frank discussion with him about, if we wait, another day, the risk is going to double. It could still happen, but it's really safer if we do it now. And then he goes under the anesthetic and wakes up, and just the whole world's partying because the news of the like regeneration technology is
Okay, but it's set on the spaceship, right, where all this has happened. And so let's make this guy like the villain, right? So, he feels hard done by because he's the last amputation or whatever. So he loses the plot and then starts trying to kill everyone on the ship.
Right. That's it. He turns against the Federation.
Exactly. And it becomes like this sort of almost like this survival horror sort of game. Like, like that Alien game where it's like the alien hunting everyone on the ship.
except you're the one doing all the hunting.
Yeah, do you play this character?
I was going to say he's like the villain. So maybe you're trying to run away from him.
I kind of like the idea of you playing a serial killer in the Star Trek universe.
Okay, all right. You're like a serial killer in the Star Trek universe, let's say. But then your different powers throughout the game is you start replacing that limb you've lost with different weapons, like let's say like a saw blade.
Cool. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's all these different ways that you can kill people with these different weapons.
So is there, can you choose to be sort of a stealthy killer and not bring suspicion to yourself? Or is it a full on like, all right, now I'm going nuts and the ship's running screaming and you've killed the navigations officer so they can't get home?
I kind of like the idea that it's another one of those broad games in which, yes, you can go the stealth kills and all that sort of stuff, but if you get caught, then it changes, what sort of happens.
So it's kind of Assassin's
kind of
Creed-ish
like
on a spaceship.
Yeah, mixed with like Edward Scissorhands or something.
Yeah. Yeah. You just pick up different tools and things and like attach them to your arm socket.
Like a power drill.
Totally. And there can be kind of a bit of like Metroidvania sort of stuff that you have to find the right tool to get through certain areas, to open up new areas. I
kind of like the idea that you can actually like sneak into the teleporter room, get a teleporter lock on someone, and just teleport them into space.
Yeah, that's good. And they eventually shut down the teleporters remotely if you do that too many times. But if you, they just keep thinking it's a malfunction.
The first person that you do it to is the captain.
If you're smart.
Deal with that, number one.
Actually, I do kind of like that idea. Like, as fun as it would be, and maybe these are like two different games, maybe one's the sequel, but as fun as it would be to blast your way through a spaceship like that, I think it'd be really fun to actually do like a tactical stealth game on a spaceship like that, where you can do things like teleport someone out or into space or whatever, or set your faces
and then have to hide your tracks.
And it's a bit like a Commandos game or something.
What about it's like a multiplayer game but you don't know who the amputee is?
Oh God! Okay,
right?
When you see that it's the person with like a giant gun attached to their shoulder.
Well, you can conceal these things in different ways. Let's say, right?
Long sleeves.
Yeah, and the objective is, if you're the amputees, to take out the other players on the ship, but all the other players doesn't know who the amputee is, so they're all suspicious of each other. So you're trying to convince each other, I'm not the amputee or whatever, so that
maybe randomly each game it's a different limb that you've lost.
Yes.
So it's not as obvious. You're not always looking for like the right arm. It could be the big toe.
Yeah.
But if it's the big toe, if it is the big toe, like obviously you're more likely to get away with it, but also you can only attach smaller things that don't do as much
really
damage.
The guy that had his nose amputated is really fucked.
Yes.
Well, he just wears he has to make sure he gets a job as like a surgical nurse and wears a mask all the time.
Well, let's say everyone's got like helmets on because it's in space or whatever. Like, let's say,
that's it. You need to like puncture the outside of the ship so that everyone has to wear helmets, and then you're not suspicious anymore.
Exactly.
We keep getting hull breaches all the way down the ship.
So is this kind of a PUBG kind of thing where 100 people are on this ship at once? But instead of
let's make it 100 people. I was thinking more 10, but 100 would just get
instead of just full on like having to hunt each other, it's more this game of everyone's trying to figure out who this one person is.
Exactly, and you can like talk to other players and try and convince them that you're not it, and that it's actually Jim, sort of thing. And you go, oh, it's Jim, you know,
it's him, Jim. He's dead, Jim. Well. Yeah, I like that. And then, but as the amputee, you have to surreptitiously just knock people off.
Exactly, and then convince the others that it's someone else that's actually doing it.
Oh, and I like the idea that you could maybe wound someone so that because just like PUBG, you've got the messages going by when people die, and you've got the little counter up the top with how many people are left, and so you wound someone. Or poison them. No. You like poison them, and then you go out into a room full of people, and they all see the counter go down, and then you've just taken the suspicion off yourself because, like,
yes, exactly.
Because it's like, well, I was here when that person died. Like, how can it be me?
Or computer set teleporter to teleport the captain off the ship in 30 seconds and pissport.
Yeah, exactly. But then people who have like the computer skills. Can look at the log files, and you have to be careful about using the computer. You have to hack it to say that you're using someone else's account. You have to find someone's password.
Maybe you can pick different classes, and each one has different abilities, which can give you a way of getting this, like finding out who the amputee is.
Exactly. Yeah, computer skills, like engineering skills to
or like an inquisitor where you can see through people's lies or whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of being a one of these tactical people who sort of fakes their own death, then hides in the Jeffries tubes the rest of the game and just like sneaks out, kills someone, and gets back in.
Yeah.
So no one's going to think that as you because you died like as one of the first two or three people.
Unless they were really keeping an eye on the count, it's like, wait, that says 3 people died, but there are 4 bodies here.
Yeah, but no one's that bloody clever.
But they would be if they'd played enough games of this.
But kind of like PUBG, how the map sort of gets small of that ring coming in. Let's give it like a timer that this amputee, has to kill everyone and get off the ship or whatever. Otherwise, he'll die.
Maybe it is still like the ring. Maybe like different sections of the ship start getting shut off, so that by the end you've got like 10 people in one room, and it's like a fucking detective Poirot or whatever, Agatha Christie sort of thing. And everyone's like,
Murder on the Orient Express.
I've gathered you all here because one of you is a killer.
And that's when the explosive decompression happens and the killer wins.
That's when the lights go off and everybody's like, what's happening? And then the lights come back on and nobody else is left in the room except the one guy who like held on to something.
Yep.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'd play that game.
Yeah, that's cool. We don't do many like multiplayer games on this show, so that's always fun. Think about how that would work. All right, I think we've got time for one more.
All right.
3, 2, 1, cook.
Yeah.
Unit.
Plastic.
Sprout.
Sprout. Okay. Sprout plastic unit.
Unit. Okay, your character is in this unit, like an apartment.
Okay.
But it's like, let's say he lives in like a plastic apartment, like a Lego apartment or something.
Okay, you're a toy.
You're a toy. Yes.
But all he has to eat is Brussels sprouts. And go.
How does something plastic digest a Brussels sprout?
Maybe this is a game where
I forgot that you said the person was a toy. I was still going on the person lives in a Lego house. So what could he afford? I know, a Brussels sprout.
Oh right, like how did he afford all that fucking Lego? Lego's
that's
expensive.
The thing. That's the reason why you can only afford Brussels sprouts.
He's just so into Lego that he's wanted to live in a Lego house, but he's a full-size human being. And yeah. Well, I was kind of thinking, I don't know how well this works. Because toys, like there's the whole Toy Story thing, toys come to life. Toys when no people are around. But, like, what about if your toy's after the apocalypse and you've just been alone for 100 years and the sprout comes from the fact that the nature is overgrowing this town, this city, because the humans have been gone for so long. And so it's you as
like Toy Story and Wall-E in one.
Yeah, there you go. It's like Toy Story after the apocalypse. You play a toy and you go off and it's, a post-apocalyptic adventure of sorts, but the only things that are left are toys because all biological life has been wiped out.
Okay,
due to Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, due to a bad batch of Brussels sprouts. And we know that the entire human race loves Brussels sprouts so much so they had no chance.
So what sort of control scheme / gameplay? Third person?
I think third person. I'm feeling like, and look, I've been playing a lot of Uncharted lately. This keeps coming up each week. But I like that kind of, because those games are so sort of, they have the epic vistas and really nice looking stuff. Yeah, I'm thinking that sort of action adventure-y companions and...
Or how about you almost like a Transformer toy so you can transform into different things?
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
So, like you can transform into like a car and then, turn into like a jet plane or I don't know for different... Maybe
you have the choice of like cannibalizing other toys for parts so you can become other things.
Okay, yes. So you almost like
go to the real dark side of the post-apocalyptic world
in this toy war. So what you join their parts onto yours, or you become what they were, or a hybrid?
Yeah, I guess a hybrid. Like you kind of, or maybe you can just take certain parts from them that snap into your joints. So you can maybe you can't be everything at once, but you can replace your wheels with wings or whatever, and now you can fly, and now you can transform into a plane.
Again, you can bring that sort of Metroidvania elements into it
exactly,
as well.
Yeah. Then you can get into the next level or into a part that you couldn't reach before.
I like the idea that at the start you've only got like your two arm joints and your leg joints and maybe even a head joint. Mm-hmm. Later on, you can find a lighter and create two new ball joints in the back, on like your back or something like that.
Right. Or maybe you just find someone. You find like a tinker, a toy who's been out in the wild,
got a melon ball
who's been out in the wild for so long that he can customize and craft things, and he adds like joints to you so you can make more complex transformations. I love that idea of the length that toys have to go to after the apocalypse to survive.
So what would the villain be in this?
An adult toy.
What, like a sex toy?
Yeah.
God.
Fleshlight.
No, I don't know that there's necessarily a villain except for the world. And everyone else, like I said, everyone else in the world, there's definitely just people you run across who are out for themselves and not willing to help. You can kill them for their parts.
Fred the fleshlight.
The Last of Us, but about toys.
The Last of Us, but toys. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Would there be a romance in this game?
Well, the fleshlight.
Crawls inside.
Yeah. All right. I think we'll end on that note. Lovely. Let's move on to our final segment. So, Callan, this is something we do when we have guests on.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you what your most anticipated game is at the moment.
For this year? Yeah.
Just right now, yeah. What's the one that comes to mind of you're just really hanging out for?
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to throw away everything you know about Kingdom Hearts 3, and we're going to come up with a game that would be named Kingdom Hearts 3 if Kingdom Hearts series did not exist. So, ideas. Kingdom Hearts. Is it a Kingdom of Hearts?
I'm actually seeing it as anthropomorphic castles that have like physical hearts inside.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Okay.
Can they move? Like, do they have legs and things, or they just like yell at each other across the the lands?
I like the fact that they can
send
move,
each other
they
carrier
can-
pigeons.
They can basically take those, when they sit down, they've got like the four towers.
Like the ramparts,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, two of those towers are actually legs, and two of them are arms. And
Right, so they're kind of these big, slow-moving giants.
yeah,
And they fight each other?
I'm thinking Shadow of the Colossus style, sort of lumbering around, and the only way to kill them is to get inside them and like take out the heart. And this is the third one in the series.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So we've got some recurring characters that are coming back,
Yep.
and
So when you were a kid,
so do you just play a human then?
Yeah, I think so.
Does a human have a heart?
I don't know.
Humans are made of stone. And, no. No. I like this idea that you're just in this world where, like castles. I don't know. Maybe based on their age or something. Like once a castle's old enough and has had enough stuff happen in it, they gain sentience and the ability and mobility through the power of their heart or whatever.
Yeah.
And so,
Do you want to set it in Scotland?
yeah, that's probably that's,
the rolling
exactly.
Hills of Scotland, that'd be
Rolling.
beautiful.
Well, can you imagine like looking over this like, the rolling hills of Scotland and seeing in the distance just these like lumbering stone castles. Because this is just a world where that's commonplace. And I don't think they're just always moving around. I think actually they sit still a lot and they have people living in them, but it's just that when they need to, they can move and maybe there's a war going on, right? Maybe
I like the idea that your best friend, when you were young, got sat on by a castle.
Okay. He got sat on by a castle when he was eating haggis.
yeah.
just
He was just so into that.
and
haggis.
wearing a kilt and
playing the bagpipes.
had the Braveheart makeup on and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So
you
Mel
really
Gibson
get
was
in.
your best friend.
Yeah, and he was killed because he was just so racist. They had to just sit on him. Okay,
But
so
you were
this
so
is your
young that you didn't
motivation.
realise that.
This is your motivation. So
This
do you
is the
now
reason
hate
why
castles,
you don't like castles. Yeah.
or is it one specific castle? Is there like this one that you've been hunting and trying to kill, but it's the
Maybe
oldest,
it's that you-
castle in the land?
Maybe it's just that you think that it's any castle, but
Or maybe you're trying to
really
find
deep down.
Maybe you're trying to find the castle who did it.
Well, it could be one of these things that is gradually, told to you over time. Kind of like after you defeat a castle, then you get a little bit more of his backstory and this guy and this kid growing up, and finally you get to.
So, because I was thinking that this world is sort of a place where humans and castles live together in a symbiosis. Are you basically a castle serial killer then?
Either a castle serial killer or you're basically a castle slayer in that you come along and when you kill one of these castles, they basically just fall down and they become a still castle.
So you got to kill it by taking out its heart.
Yep.
Yeah. So they just become a regular old castle.
Yep. Wherever they fall is where they end up. So
you're working for like a real estate developer. And they're like, lure this castle to the beachfront and then kill it, and we're going to sell all the rooms for a huge markup.
in that you got to take out the royal family that's currently living in there, or whatever it is in the castle.
Oh yeah, you have to, as you fight your way through because this is the thing, like the whole whatever the staff and the people the peasants, they're all living in this castle. You have to fight your way through them to get to the heart.
Yep.
This is once you even make your way past the defenses of the castle.
Yep.
Shadow of Colossus style.
So the hearts
I
are
really
like
like
the bosses of these castles.
Yes.
Well, maybe are they? I guess there might be different defenses around the heart. I don't think the hearts themselves necessarily. I think the heart themselves is just its weak point, and once you get in there, you stab it.
But the bullet hell that you go through in there is just awesome.
Yeah, because everybody who lives in this castle is very loyal, loyal and they love their castle. They know you're trying to kill it, so they just throw themselves at you to try to stop you. You're just slashing your way through. That's cool.
What sort of weapons would you have then to take out all these people in the heart?
I mean, I think it's like medieval weaponry.
Yep.
So maybe you can, hijack a catapult to sort of to hit their
To launch yourself up.
Well, you could launch yourself in, or to hit their outer defenses, so you can sort of crumble a bit, and then you can climb your way in because you've created handholds. Like I think Shadow of the Colossus style, every castle is different and has its own strategies for getting in there first, and then for getting through it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think once you're inside, it's almost like a Dynasty Warriors or something where there's just tons of people coming at you. So it's not like, Assassin's Creed or Batman games or something where you're fighting, 5 or 10 people. You're fighting like 50 people.
Wow.
You've got attacks that just like smash through bunches at once.
Yep, that's cool.
Because it's in Scotland, I want to see like, your main sword is like this massive broadsword.
Oh, totally.
So
yeah.
It's not really for stabbing. It's just for massive swipes and just like taking people's heads off and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And you can throw like giant logs and rocks and things like that, like the Scots used to.
You just caber toss. You just caber toss a log right on top of someone's head.
You squash them long ways.
This is going to be the most culturally insensitive game ever. Just take all the stereotypes
And the DLC,
run with it.
The DLC is bagpipes.
I was going to say the whole soundtrack is bagpipes. That's a soundtrack for this game.
Oh, God. Nobody's going to play it for more than 30 seconds. The bagpipes start up. Nope.
Yeah, but settings.
But it's bagpipe covers of, like, popular music.
Yeah, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers do.
Oh, I thought that was a pun you just came up with. Is that a real thing?
No, there is actually a band in Scotland called the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they do covers of like rock songs using like bagpipes and drums and all this sort of stuff.
That is awesome.
Awesome.
It is actually really, really cool.
There you go. We'll license them for the soundtrack.
I'm now picturing the guy from, the guy that dresses up in the Cookie Monster outfit that sometimes plays the bagpipes out in Melbourne, and he quite often plays like Thunderstruck or something like that.
Yeah. There you go. If we can't afford the Red Hot Chili Peppers, we'll get him.
You get into the boss room and you just see in the corner like this Cookie Monster with
that's an Easter egg in one of the castles.
In the other corner is like an Elmo one, and then it's like friggin' dueling bagpipes.
Yeah. God. All right. I think on that we might finish up.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us, Callan.
Yes. Thank you for letting me jump in and be part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to find us, we're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as BitstormCast. We have a Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Bitstorm. We're on Podchaser, podchaser.com/Bitstorm. Rate and review us there.
Yep, we're on iTunes, where you can also rate, review, and subscribe to us. Go to website, bitstormcast.com. Love to plug our friends at the AGPN, the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. Just search for AGPN on Twitter, or hashtag AGPN, I should say, or the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook. Finally, we'd like to thank Kuridas for the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
And Callan, where can our listeners find your show?
Okay, so you can find Game Train on iTunes. We host through Podbean, so it's gametrain.podbean.com, and also on Facebook at facebook.com/GameTrainPodcast.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Yes.
All right, so
yeah.
Thank you again, everyone, for listening. Thanks, Callan, for joining us.
No problem.
I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
And I'm Callan Davison.
Charge! I don't know.